Hello, my name is Thanida Sirichotvongsa, student ID number 61016403554. This video is for the update of the work for the subject LB371, Legal Methodology. My topic for the research is Comparative Law on Excise Tax on Electric Vehicles between Thailand, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Today's presentation, I'm going to present about the background of the problem, structure of my article, relevant law and regulations, and writing progress. So let's get started. I am going to start with the background of the problem. Electric vehicles, or another word, electric cars, are one of the technologies of the future and have become one major industry where the world is watching and pushing forward. The main benefit of electric cars is to reduce the use of fossil fuel, which will help the environment and people. An example would be in the United States. There's a policy on electric vehicle tax credit, which Joe Biden used to attract people to use electric cars, in which from this policy, people who purchase electric vehicles will receive a tax credit. This causes people to be more interested in buying electric vehicles, which are higher in price when compared to traditional vehicles in the market. However, one major problem with the excise tax on electric vehicles is that currently, even if many governments are motivating their people to use electric vehicles, but the support for the electric vehicles is still lacking in many ways. For example, the free charging stations, which are only available in certain areas which are not covered enough. Therefore, the government needs to find a way to motivate people to come and use electric vehicles, which the most common way to reduce the excise tax on electric vehicles. This paper will use Thailand, US, and UK to compare and contrast on excise tax on electric vehicles, list down the problem from each country, and suggest what law should be applied to Thailand for improvement. Next, the structure of the article. In my paper, the topic that I would like to be discussed in brief will include first, the introduction about the excise tax on electric vehicles, then focus on the rationale for promoting electric vehicles. After that, the main point of my article will be current Thailand's tax policy and legal framework on electric vehicles, along with the topic of the United Kingdom policy and legal framework on electric vehicles. Then the paper will be about the United States policy and legal framework on electric vehicles. During the time of writing, I will compare these three countries by the law of each one. And before going to the conclusion of the paper, I will give a recommendation to improve Thailand's tax regime on electric vehicles. Then I will write the conclusion and sum up the paper. For the part of the relevant law and regulations, here is the law and regulations that are used in each country. To begin with Thailand, the Board of Investment issued the tax incentives. For the electric vehicles industry, it is called the National Electric Vehicle Policy Committee, or NEVPC. The BOI issued this because it wants to accelerate the country's national EV roadmap to produce some 1.2 million EV by 2036. And for the United Kingdom, the excise tax on electric vehicles that the government collected is under the Vehicle Excise Duty, or VED. Moving to the United States, the US has a program called Electric Car Credit Tax Credit, which is to alert people to use electric vehicles. And lastly, I am now focused on collecting data for the progress in the writing part. Due to my topic, comparative law on excise tax on electric vehicles between Thailand, the United Kingdom, and the United States. I used 3 countries to compare in this paper, and each had a different type of law. To conclude, I am collecting information about the excise tax of each country right now and will start writing the paper soon. Thank you.